So I would like to request you, Mrs. Priti, so please tell something about from the book. And
You'd like me to read something from the book?
yeah, I want you to read something from the book. Or
Awesome. Okay. So instead of reading a chapter, I have these little, say, like, one-liners that I have made about voice,
yes,
okay, about the voice industry. So instead of reading a chapter, I hope people will buy the book and read it for themselves.
yes,
I'm going to read out some stickers, okay? I'm going to read out some stickers that I have
sure.
made. So if you want to sound conversational, keep your eyes off the script. Now, these are one-liners.
Okay.
There's a lot of thought behind it, okay? If your
Yes.
eyes are on the script, you're not going to sound as if you're saying it. You're going to sound as if you're reading it. So the caption I've written is, want to sound conversational? Keep your eyes off the script. Then there's make a dialogue, not a monologue. Then it's a performance. Ensure the movie plays in the listener's mind. So you are giving a performance when you're reading a voiceover script. You're giving a performance, and whatever you are saying, it has to be visualized by your listener. You are a vocal painter. Don't just voice it, paint it. Listeners think in pictures and not words. Do not devote fixed time for voiceover practice. Do it non-stop, 24/7. Eat, drink, breathe, sleep voiceovers. Be mad about it. There is no choice. You have to be a voice artist 24/7. Don't sit down to practice. Just be in it all the time. Then I'll just skip and reach the last one. Being a voice artist is not a destination, it's an ongoing journey. So you cannot say that I have arrived as a voice artist. You have to keep learning, keep doing, keep performing, and you will keep growing. There's no stop to it. It's an ongoing process. Okay, that's it.
Thank you so much, ma'am. I personally believe that this book would prove so much helpful in terms of practicing communication also.
Yes, certainly.
Yeah.
It's like
Yes.
it's not just the voice artist who requires to
Yeah.
work on the voice. It's you, me,
Hmm.
everybody. Okay, it's your
Yes. It
with your
helps.
voice you're
Yeah.
going to connect with the right. So with your voice you're going to connect with the soul of your listener.
Exactly.
If you don't put your own soul in your voice, it's not going to connect.
Hmm.
So this book is
Yeah.
essential. It will help you to work on your voice. Right?
Yes. So, in order to know more about your journey, I really want to ask some of the questions from you. So,
Sure,
if you
sure.
allow me to do.
Of course, please go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. So, I just want to ask, when did you first realize that you wanted to be a writer?
Well, I did not realize it myself. Okay, it happened to me.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
actually, it's like you read a lot of books and you feel like even I can write this, and this kind of thoughts used to come once in a while, but not really very seriously. It's like I do voiceover. So when we get a script, we most more often than not we get terrible script, not written well, poor grammar. So we have to correct it ourselves and do the voice. So that's what we are used to as voice artists. You will notice that as you keep voicing, your English starts improving, your language starts improving. So this is what happened one day. One client of mine gave me a script which was around 45 minutes long, and I could not make head nor tail of it. So I told him that I will, correct it. I'll put it into a flow. I'll make a nice story from it, and I'll voice it. And I did it. It came out to around 22 minutes. I did that voiceover and I sent it to him, and they were floored. They loved the script. It was a beautiful story which started. It was a flowing story. So that happened long time ago. And then during COVID times, one day I get a call from this client. He asked me whether you'll edit for me. I said, I thought editing as a voice artist, I thought it must be audio editing. So I told him
Hmm.
audio editing. So he said, no, it's editing of my novel. He's writing a romantic
Okay.
suspense thriller. So he said, will you edit my novel? I said, let me give it a try because I loved, enhancing others' written work and all. So I took that and I started ghostwriting for him, and it was really loved it. He really liked it, and I got a very good response for it. When I was doing that is when I realized if I can write for him, probably I can also write for myself. And that's when I started to think, okay, let me start writing for myself as well.
Okay. Yeah, so what inspired you to write this book particularly?
Yeah. So, like, I'm a voice artist, and when you're voicing, we come across a lot of tidbits over here, but we don't find one place where we can learn everything about voice. Like, I used to be on the net, I used to research for myself, Google, I used to go on others' website, follow other coaches, read a lot of books, but I could not find one place where I could understand, I could learn it all. Okay, and then if like there's this saying that if you don't find a book which you really want to read, it's
Yes,
high time you write
absolutely.
it yourself. So that's
Yeah.
probably the reason, I thought that maybe let me bring out all that I know, all that I have learned. Let me put it into one place. Maybe that's going to be helpful for many. That's why I started with the book.
Okay, so what is the main idea behind this book? The Mouthful of Money.
Yeah. So I have this analogy where I call the soldier, the throat, the voice box as the soldier, and the brain as the commander. So in this book, you work on the soldier. That's your voice box. You make it fit and fine. Like, teach it exercises, vocal exercises, and you do voice culture. But the culturing of the brain is what is more important, because your soldier, your voice box may be very fit and fine. You have a great throat, but you cannot perform with it. You cannot play with it. You cannot change your pace. You cannot change your pitch. You cannot play with the volume. You cannot play with, the different vocal spots. Then there's no point in having a great voice and a great throat. It's your commander, your brain, which needs to get cultured to make your voice perform. And that is what I have followed in the book. That is the pattern that I followed in the book. And I've brought it out in that fashion, put it into a, step by step. Like, a person, as the person follows goes chapter by chapter, you will start to, to see the entire picture. It's not one little tidbit over here. It's a complete learning. It's like a textbook where you will
Yeah,
understand, one point will grow
yeah.
on the other, will
Hmm.
grow on the other, like that. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so there's a question in our chat box that I just want to ask that how this book will helpful for our voice artists.
Of course it will be helpful in the sense it will help them to what they're doing. See, like, uh, if you look at a singer, playback singer, the singer sings, right? The
Hmm.
singer sings beautifully, but there are so many singers who don't know what they are doing when they're singing. Okay, tomorrow, if you, like, supposing I make a voice, I make a wonderful voice today, and you ask me to do it again tomorrow, again the day after, or after a few years, I don't know what I did. It happened. Now, if you
Yeah.
read this book, you're going to start to understand what are you doing inside to produce what you're producing. It's like you're
Hmm.
not playing the game blindly. You now have the lingo, the knowledge, the entire picture of what really you do when you're voicing. So you get more technically sound.
Yeah.
Sound is what I'll say. Yeah.
Yeah.
So of
Uh,
course, if more the knowledge, better the artist.
yeah, absolutely. Also, what do you hope your readers take away from this book?
Okay, so there is this this is notion in the market, like,
Hmm.
अगर आवाज अच्छी है तो मैं voice artist बनूंगा. This is
Yes.
everybody thinks, comes with this, मेरी आवाज अच्छी है, क्या मैं voice artist बन सकती हूँ, बन सकता हूँ.
Hmm.
So I want to, first destroy this thought that if you have a great voice, you can be
Okay.
a great voice artist. It's not true. It's a myth. If you have a great voice, it's awesome. It may be a very useful step for you. But to work on your voice, play with your voice is what is actually required. Your voice, you can culture it and you can develop wherever you are, you can improve it. But what you're doing with your voice, if you're not able to, change that to, highlight or lift yourself, it's no point having a great voice. Even if Amitabh Bachchan uses his beautiful baritone all the time and doesn't,
Yes.
go up and down, does not play with his voice, we will get bored listening to Amitabh Bachchan. Like, for example, the COVID message that Amitabh Bachchan's voice was having, like last 2 years, we even got irritated with listening to Amitabh Bachchan. Why? Because it was the same
Yeah,
thing hammering us.
absolutely. Yeah.
right?
It
So
is, yeah,
if there's
monotonous.
no variety in your voice, if there's no variety in your voice, if there's no modulation in your voice, people are not really going to enjoy your great voice for a long time. Okay.
Yeah. Also, I just want to ask this. Have you ever faced writer's block? And if yes, then how would you overcome it?
Well, if you wake me in the morning, 4 o'clock also, and you ask me
Mm-hmm.
anything about voice, I'll go putter,
Yeah.
putter, putter. I'll go on, on. So I never
Yes.
faced a writer's block, frankly speaking,
Hmm.
because there was no block at all. It was all overflowing. Like, in fact, I had to put full stops. I had to stop myself from writing because I was just going on and on and on. So there was somewhere I had to put a boundary. I had to stop. So, in fact, I had to put blocks. So it was never a writer's block for
Yeah.
me. uh, there were lazy times, there were procrastination times, which I managed to like work around them. Yeah.
All right. So there is one more question in the chat box, which is how should we
Yes.
approach to become a voiceover artist?
See, if you look for if you're finding a job, what do? You develop your personality, you gather your
Yeah, the skill
certificates, you
set.
gather your
Yes.
resume, and you go knocking doors. Okay. As a
Yes.
voice artist, you don't require a resume, you require good voice samples to showcase what you have done. Okay. And
Hmm.
then you have to, again, here too, you have to go knocking doors and networking. You have to be present on social media. You have to be visible. So that's the way, like,
Yes.
you go invoicing.
And while writing this book, what was the one of the most surprising things that happens to you?
Surprising. Well, I happen to have engineering background, and
Hmm.
even some other lot of, I've worked in a many, quite a few fields. So
Hmm.
wherever I was working, whatever learning happened, all that learning is it's a download in this book. You may see, like, हम लोग स्कूल के टाइम बोलते हैं ना, अलजेब्रा क्यों पढ़ाते हैं, केमिस्ट्री क्यों पढ़ाते हैं, थोड़ी हम लोग
Yes.
बड़े होके ये करने वाले. But
Hmm.
I would like to say that whatever algebra, chemistry, physics you must have learned in your school, you may not remember why you learned that and what happened, but it conditioned your brain to perform in a certain way, to learn, to understand, to behave in a certain fashion. All the learnings that happened in our school, and that is when what I realized when I was writing this book, कि जो
Hmm.
मैंने सालों में इतने सालों में सीखा, जो मुझे लगता है मैं आज यूज नहीं
Yes.
कर रही हूँ, it's
Hmm.
actually all because of that I'm able to bring
Yeah.
out this into a book. So I'm really very grateful to whatever ups and downs I have had in my life
Yes.
before. That is what. So I'm like, that came as a surprise when I was writing the book. It came as a surprise कि मैं ये लिख पाती हूँ, this is what I'm able to do. So that was a big surprise for me. Yes.
Yes. Yeah, so I personally believe that this book is helpful for all the ages and it somehow helps people in order to developing their communication skills, whether it's communication skills or day-to-day vocal activities and anything like that. But I just want to ask you that what, according to you, is the target audience for this book?
Yeah, straight away, voice artist. It's meant, I've written it for the voiceover artist who can develop his or her career. And
Hmm.
even if it's a experienced artist, it's not just for freshers. Even if it's an
Hmm.
experienced artist, like I said a while ago, we do several things without really knowing what we're doing. It's our innate
Yes.
talent. But so this book is going to help you understand what you do, understand your own
Absolutely.
performance. So it's not just for the voice artist again, and
Yeah, anyone
even the
can.
general public.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
even the general public, if they are interested, it's like voice artist ने अच्छी से बोलना है, पर मैं कहती
Hmm.
हूँ सबने अच्छे से बोलना है.
सबने अच्छे से
In
बोलना,
wherever you
exactly.
are, maybe you're a teacher talking to children, but the
Hmm.
moment you learn the craft like a voice artist, you are going to floor the audience, whoever is in front of you. So I think it's a book that everybody can have a good read.
Yes. Also, like you have been in voice industry for such a long time, and so I just want to you to give us a brief about your journey
Yeah. So
as a voice
I
artist.
yeah. So I started off as a can I say rough voiceover artist? Can you say that's a rough voice? So in our profession, what you have is you have a dummy voice that you use for a till the end moment that they want to replace it, and then you replace it with a a professional voice artist. We use dummy voices. We not the developers. I happen to be a developer before. So the place I worked is where I used to give, because Ghar Ki Murgi Dal Barabar, I used to give the voice over there.
Yes.
And that's how my journey started. I tasted blood. And then after that, it's like I got, like, then I used to observe those veteran artists, those who used to come and perform. I used to observe them, and that's how my learning started. And it never stopped. I kept on learning. I got greedy. I was all over the place learning whatever little tidbit I can gather. I used to gather it, and once inside, it will never go out. And I started to make sense of the whole thing in my own inside. Okay, not in a book, but I started to make it a whole picture as a complete sense of it. And I started to work on my voice as well. अच्छा ये ऐसा करता है तो ये कैसे करता होगा. This is how I have worked and performed and learned. Okay, all the time learning. And then because I happened to be in Pune, so I got a very small share of dubbing because Pune is not a dubbing hub. But voicing, I did a lot of voiceovers. I did for most of the corporates in Pune, I have worked for them. I worked for international clients, domestic clients all over India. I'm more a voiceover artist, as in a corporate voice, documentary voice. Dubbings, yes, I have done. I have dubbed a Marathi film, Hirkani. Then I have done a lot of animated voices, animated movie. So that is my journey. And there came a point in my life when I thought कि अगर मैं ये कर रही हूँ तो मैं किसी और को कैसे बताऊंगी. ये सपोजिंग मैंने किसी कोई वॉइस निकाली तो मैं आपको कैसे बताऊंगी कि ये वॉइस कैसे करते हैं. So I started to word what I'm doing, and there the whole thing about coaching started for me. That's how my journey is. Okay. And I love teaching. I love teaching. When I come across anybody where I see scope, or that person wants to ask a question, I can't stop. I just go on there.
Yeah. Also, ma'am, could you please brief us about the vocal spot?
Vocal spot. Yeah. So vocal spot is nothing but from where you are speaking. Okay. For example, मैं भी head voice में बात कर रही हूँ. So the vocal spot is the head voice. It doesn't mean my voice box reached in the head. Okay, it doesn't mean that. It means that what voice I am producing, you will feel, you will perceive that the voice is originating in the head. Although it is not in the head. It is my commander pitching so that it sounds as if it's in the head. Okay, when I put my voice in the chest, now this voice is a chest voice. My voice box did not go to the chest. I am sourcing my voice from the chest. So that is a vocal spot. So if you see 3 basic vocal spots, most of us can do. It's the chest, the head, and the normal middle voice, natural voice. Now, when you see people mimicking or doing different character voices, अरे ये मेरा book launch चल रहा है बेटा. So what I did, I pushed my voice in the chest and I made a little. Where is my voice? A little close to the glottis. Here is from where I'm speaking. Now I'm speaking from the lips. Okay, I'm speaking from the front. This is my natural voice. Now I'm speaking from my ears. Can you hear that? That's another vocal spot.
Yes.
Now I'm speaking from my nose. It's another vocal spot. So where the voice is coming from, what we perceive, okay? It's not physically going there. So कहाँ से सुनाई दे रहा है, ये महसूस जो होता है वो vocal spot है.
Is the vocal spot. Okay. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. And I guess we have some questions in the chat box.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so there is one question from Saket. So it says, will this book replace a mentor?
No, it will not. It will not. It's like आप स्कूल में जाते हो तो टेक्स्ट बुक मिल गया इसलिए टीचर के पास जाना बंद नहीं करते, right?
Yes.
This is going to be a go back to, refer to, handy book, okay, all the time. It will not replace a mentor, definitely not. and I do not devalue the mentor. The mentor's place is a mentor's place. See, the mentor, what they teach, they have, everybody has their own different style. I have my style. You will have your own
Yes,
style.
absolutely.
So, आपको कहाँ पे click आता है? Who's teaching you understand? You must go to them. It doesn't replace the mentor. No.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the last question I want to ask is, do you have any suggestions for aspiring writers, like who just started writing their book and something like that?
Oh, oh, yes. So, what mostly happens with writers is everybody has their own, level of conveying their thoughts, etc. सबके पास वो होता है. Everybody has the caliber to do it. It's only
Yes.
some do it, some don't do it, right? Some do it, some don't do it. Now those who don't do, वो क्यों नहीं करते? क्योंकि कुछ अलग priority आ जाती है सामने कि हम every day we do have our lunch, breakfast, dinner. Every day we do use the washroom. Every day we do go to sleep. But do we, if you are a writer, do you write every day? Because कुछ फोन आया, कुछ काम आया, ऑफिस जाना है, तो
Yes.
writing backseat लेता है. So what I did, it happened with me as well. I'm a voice artist. Sometimes, a job.
Yes.
So a job comes, I have to deliver. Today I can't write at all. So I could afford to do that. I rejected so many voiceover jobs to write the book. I could afford to do that, but not everybody will be able to do. मैं उनको क्या बोलूंगी? Those who are, don't give up on your day-to-day work, but just
Yes.
ensure that you do one slot for your. See, I do Pomodoro, 25 minutes timers.
Okay.
So one Pomodoro, एक आपके book के लिए करना. Okay, you sit down, set 25 minutes every day. कोई भी time में. You set that 25 minutes, put off your phone and sit for that 25 minutes. Don't do anything but your book. If you're not in a flow, you're not getting anything to write. Okay, that time आप कुछ नहीं करो, पर अपने book के बारे में सोचो या पढ़ो अपनी book को. I must have read my own book 1,000 times at least. And very few times I read it again and again and again.
Yes.
So, अगर आप नहीं लिखते, you keeping in touch with your own book will ensure that you complete it. Another thing is put up everywhere. Like this is my first print that I don't know if you can see it. This is the first design that I had made of my book. Yeah.
Yes.
So of my book. ये तब से टंगा है जिस पहले दिन मैंने start किया book लिखना.
Then you
I
started
keep
writing the
visual.
book.
Yeah. तो मैं जब भी अपने desk पे आके बैठती हूँ, this is what I see. It makes me answerable to my book.
Yes.
And if at all there are days when there are dry days, you don't do anything with your book, don't be cruel to yourself. Be kind. It's all right.
It's
कभी हो जाता है, छुट्टी.
Yeah, it's a great way to prioritize the task and complete the work, and you are doing it really great. And yeah, so there is one more question which says idea behind the title of the book.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a book. There's Money Where Your Mouth Is by Elaine Clark. So I loved this title, and मुझे बहुत इतना पसंद आया कि I cannot use that, right? Somebody's.
I have this book.
Yeah. That is A Mouthful of Money. That's my book. Okay. Somebody asked, why did I write this name, right? That's the question, na?
Yes.
Why did I give it the name A Mouthful of Money? The reason. So one reason is because it's inspired by Elaine Clark's book. There's Money Where Your Mouth Is. And secondly, like as a voice artist, you will start working with your, like oratory skills. You will earn money with it. So a mouthful of money. So let's be positive. You're going to earn a lot of money with your voice, with your voicing career. So that's why the name. Yeah.
Okay. So at last, I would just want to conclude this by I would request you to do some small voiceover act for our audience.
Voiceover act. Okay.
Yeah.
So I've not done in a long time. It's a very very loud voice, but I'll have to go back, otherwise it will be blasting the phone. Okay. So yeah. तो ये मैंने एक animated film है महावीर जी पर. तो उसमें एक डायन है जो महावीर को पकड़ने की कोशिश करती है. Okay.
Okay.
So this is what she's hiding and seeing. Then she sees Mahavir and she says, कब तक बचोगे महावीर? मैं तुम्हें हरा कर ही रहूंगी. Okay, that's
It's
good.
amazing. It's amazing. I must say, you are doing an amazing job, and it feels so nice to hear it live from you.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I guess
Thank you.
we have no questions. Like that's it from my end. And thank you so much, ma'am, for uh, unveiling the book for us. And thank you so much for our audience to being with us and joining this session.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you to everybody who joined us. Thank you so much.
yeah. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you so
everyone. Have a good day.
Have a great day. Bye bye.